The moment the plane touched down, something shifted, and fans felt it before they even saw it. Jungkook had finally returned to Korea. After days of schedules overseas, exhaustion, and the constant buzz of cameras and crowds, this wasn't just another airport arrival. This felt different. There was a kind of tension in the air, the kind that only builds when people are waiting, not just for an idol, but for a moment. And somehow, before any official footage dropped, before any clear photos surfaced, whispers had already started spreading online. Jimin is there. At first, it sounded like one of those fan rumors that pop up every time something big happens. But then the clips began to appear. Blurry at first, shaky, taken from a distance, yet unmistakable. Someone was standing there, ahead of everyone else, watching, waiting. And when Jungkook finally stepped into view, the energy shifted instantly. The crowd reacted, of course, they always do. But something else was happening in that split second. Something quieter, more personal, almost like the rest of the world faded out for just a moment. Because Jimin was already there. Now pause for a second and think about that. Out of everyone who could have been there, staff, security, fans, media, why Jimin? Why first? Why not later? Backstage, somewhere private and away from the chaos. That's the question fans couldn't stop asking. And maybe that's exactly why this moment hit so differently. Because it didn't feel staged. It didn't feel like something planned for cameras or headlines. If anything, it felt like the opposite, a spontaneous, almost instinctive act. The kind of thing you do without overthinking, without considering how it will look, simply because you want to be there. And that's where the real story begins. Jungkook's arrival itself was already emotional. Anyone who has followed him closely knows how intense his schedule has been. The pressure, the expectations, the constant movement from one place to another. It's a lifestyle that looks glamorous from the outside but demands an incredible amount of energy. So when he walked through that airport, there was something subtle in his expression. Not dramatic, not exaggerated, just a quiet kind of relief. Like someone finally stepping into a familiar space again. And then, there was Jimin. No grand gesture. No dramatic run across the terminal. Just presence. But sometimes, presence is louder than anything else. Fans immediately began dissecting every frame. The way Jungkook's face softened when he noticed him. The way Jimin stood, calm but clearly focused on one person. Even the smallest details, eye contact, body language, the timing of their movements, became part of a much bigger conversation. What does it mean when someone shows up first? Is it just coincidence? Or is it something more intentional? Because here's the thing people can't ignore. This isn't the first time their connection has stood out. Over the years, Jungkook and Jimin have shared countless moments that fans have held onto. Moments that feel genuine, unfiltered, and deeply human. But this felt different. This felt quiet, and somehow louder because of it. In a world where everything is usually documented, polished, and carefully presented, this moment slipped through in a way that felt almost raw. And maybe that's why it resonated so deeply. Think about it. How often do we see something that feels truly unscripted in an industry built on precision? And yet here it was. A simple airport arrival turning into something that sparked millions of reactions online. Fans weren't just reacting, they were analyzing. Slowing down clips, zooming in, comparing angles, asking questions that went beyond what was visible. Did Jungkook know Jimin would be there? Was this planned? Or was it spontaneous? Why does this feel so emotional even without words? And maybe the most interesting question of all, why does this matter so much to us? That last question is worth exploring. Because on the surface, it's just two people at an airport. Nothing dramatic, nothing groundbreaking, no big announcement, no official statement, and yet it felt like everything. Maybe it's because moments like this remind people of something real, something relatable, something that goes beyond the image of global superstars and taps into something much simpler. Connection. There's something universally human about being welcomed by someone who matters to you. About knowing that after everything, the travel, the stress, the distance. There's someone waiting. Not because they have to be, but because they want to be. And that's where this moment hits differently. It's not about what was said. It's about what didn't need to be said. Jungkook didn't have to explain anything. Jimin didn't have to make a big gesture. The meaning was already there, in the silence, in the timing, in the fact that he was there before anyone else. And fans felt it. You could see it in the comments flooding social media. This feels so personal. Why am I emotional over this? They didn't even do anything, but I'm crying. That's the power of authenticity, or at least, the perception of it. And here's where things get even more interesting. In the age of digital content, where every moment can be replayed endlessly, authenticity becomes one of the most valuable and rare things. Fans aren't just consuming content anymore. They're searching for meaning. They're looking for moments that feel unscripted, unfiltered, real. And when they find one, they hold on to it. This airport moment became exactly that. But let's step back for a second and look at this from another angle. Is it possible that fans are projecting their own emotions onto the situation? Absolutely. That's part of what makes fandom culture so powerful, and sometimes so complex. People don't just watch, they interpret. They connect. They build narratives based on small details. And sometimes, those narratives say just as much about the audience as they do about the moment itself. So, what are fans really seeing here? Are they seeing two artists reconnecting after time apart? Are they seeing a friendship that has grown stronger over the years? Or are they seeing something deeper, something they can't fully explain, but can definitely feel? There's no single answer. And maybe that's the point. The ambiguity is what keeps the conversation alive. Because if everything were clear, if every detail were explained, there would be nothing left to wonder about. But here, there's space. Space for interpretation. Space for emotion. Space for connection. And that's why this moment continues to spread, to trend, to spark discussion long after it happened. It's not just about what we saw. It's about what we felt. And feelings don't need confirmation to be real. As more footage surfaced, fans began piecing together the sequence of events. The timing of Jungkook's arrival. The positioning of Jimin. The subtle interactions that might have gone unnoticed at first glance. Each new clip added another layer. Each detail raised another question. And the conversation kept growing. But here's something worth considering. What if the significance of this moment isn't in the details at all? What if it's in the simplicity? In a world where everything is often overanalyzed, maybe this moment stands out because it doesn't need to be complicated. Jungkook returned. Jimin was there. That's it. And yet, that's everything. Because sometimes, the simplest actions carry the most meaning. Showing up, waiting, being present. Those are the things people remember. Not the grand gestures, not the headlines, but the quiet moments that feel genuine. And that's exactly what this was. A quiet moment that somehow echoed across the entire internet. So now the question shifts again. What happens next? Will there be more moments like this? Will this remain a one-time glimpse into something rare? Or will fans continue to notice these small, meaningful interactions moving forward? No one knows for sure. But one thing is certain. People are watching more closely than ever. Not just for big events, but for these subtle, human moments that reveal something deeper. And maybe that's the real impact of what happened at that airport. It changed what people are looking for. It reminded them that sometimes, the most powerful stories aren't the loudest ones. They're the quiet ones. The ones that unfold in a single glance, a simple presence, a moment that doesn't need explanation. And if this is the kind of moment that resonates so deeply, imagine what else might be happening just outside the spotlight. Moments we don't see. Moments we don't capture. Moments that are just as real, but belong only to them. That thought alone is enough to keep fans curious, engaged, and emotionally invested. Because at the end of the day, this isn't just about an airport arrival. It's about connection. It's about timing. It's about the unspoken things that somehow say the most. And maybe that's why this moment will be remembered long after the next headline takes its place. Because it wasn't trying to be memorable. It just was. Now I'm curious. What did you feel when you first saw that moment? Did it hit you instantly? Or did it grow on you the more you watched it? Do you think this was spontaneous? Or do you believe there's more behind it? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Let's talk about it. And if you enjoy deep dives into moments like this, the kind that go beyond the surface and explore what really makes them impactful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. There's always more to uncover, and you won't want to miss what comes next.